The day after the divorce, I woke up to find myself back in my senior year of high school. My ex-husband sat there, one leg crossed over the other, watching me with smug glee. Beg me, and I'll teach you how to solve this problem. Only a dog would beg you, I snapped angrily. That night, I knocked on his door. Woof. When Jiang Yubai and I walked out of the Civil Affairs Bureau after finalizing the divorce, a heavy rain began to fall. Like a gentleman, Jiang Yubai offered to drive me back to my parents' house. I gave him a strained, fake smile. Are you sure about that? If my dad ends up breaking your dog legs, I'm not paying the medical bills. Jiang Yubai seemed to think of something, shuddered slightly, then stiffened his resolve. It's fine. I'm thick-skinned and tough. Jiang Yubai and I were childhood sweethearts, the kind who grew up together from the diaper-wearing days. He was always brilliant. After graduating university, he took his family's initial investment and entered the finance world, where he actually made a name for himself. I, on the other hand, was of average talent, working a 9-to-5 job at a state-owned enterprise. Living a life that was predictable from start to finish. At one class reunion, Jiang Yubai appeared before me looking all suave and proper, asking if I wanted to marry him. I said, "Are you drunk? And you haven't even had a drink?" He stayed silent, his face grim. My gaze drifted to the TV in the private room, which was broadcasting the grand wedding of the film star Ru Lan. I understood. Even someone like me, who isn't into gossip, had heard bits and pieces about the tangled love-hate saga between Jiang Yubai and Ru Lan. Now that the love of his life had married someone else, his heart, liver, spleen, lungs and kidneys must be frying on a hot skillet. Since I was constantly being pushed into blind dates by aunts and relatives anyway, why not settle things once and for all? Jiang Yubai and I hit it off immediately. After getting our marriage certificates, we went to meet each other's parents. Jiang Yubai's parents had watched me grow up and always considered me half a daughter. Now, with this union bringing the families even closer, his mother was so overjoyed she immediately slipped the jade bracelet off her wrist and onto mine. It fit perfectly. Mrs. Jiang couldn't stop smiling. Nian was fated to be our Jiang family's daughter-in-law. Beside her, Jiang Yubai's lips twitched slightly. Then it was time to visit my parents. Seeing Jiang Yubai and me get married so quickly, my mom and dad were surprised, but didn't say much. However, that very night, my dad got Jiang Yubai drunk and casually informed him, "If you ever treat my daughter wrong in the future, I'll break your dog legs." I was the one who brought up the divorce. Because Ru Lan had returned to the country. Yes, the reason she came back was she was divorced. That wedding, which once captivated the nation, that fairy tale couple everyone envied, had ended in just 2 short years. I remember the day the gossip news reported Ru Lan's return. Jiang Yubai stood on the balcony like a statue the entire night. The next day, he came down with a fever. I cursed at him for being a dog of a man while simultaneously running around tending to him. In the end, he even grabbed my hand, muttering, "Don't go. Don't leave me alone again." Ha! They say truth comes out when drunk. For him, it came out when feverish. Who was he asking not to go, not to leave him? Who else could it be but Ru Lan, who had gone overseas? There was a second person. I took out the divorce agreement I had prepared earlier and placed it squarely on the coffee table. Seeing my determination to divorce, Jiang Yubai asked me 3 times, "You won't regret this?" but offered no further resistance. He signed his name more briskly than anyone. I thought once those signatures were down, our paths would never cross again. But waking up now, seeing that familiar someone sitting cross-legged and gloating before me, I internally screamed, "Heavens, are you playing a joke on me?" I once saw a question on Jihu. What was the most nightmarish period of your life? The answer: the final year of high school. Now, clutching my head and staring at the thick stack of test papers before me, I'm in agony. Of all times to time travel, why did it have to be senior year? A pair of pale, slender hands braced on my desk. I looked up to see the teenage version of Jiang Yubai. The loose school uniform hung on him, oozing youthful vibes. His youthful features were clean, his eyes clear, completely devoid of the calculation and complexity of an adult. He looked at me with undisguised schadenfreude. "Oh, stuck on the math problems again?" "Beg me." I eyed him with wariness and suspicion. I wasn't sure if the Jiang Yubai before me was the teenage Jiang Yubai, or if he had time-traveled here like me. I had to test him. Rulan? He looked utterly confused. Huh? What's that? 911016. That was the passcode to our marital home's front door. He furrowed his handsome brows. Wen Nian, have you lost your mind? One last verification. Cotton Candy Company? That was the first company he founded. More like Pork Knuckle Company. Wen Nian, are you so hungry first thing in the morning you've gone crazy? His hand reached out, the cool back of it lightly touching my forehead. No fever. The sudden touch startled me. I instinctively leaned back in a tactical retreat, only to find the desk behind me had been moved for cleaning. Just as I was about to fall, I instinctively grabbed Jiang Yubai's school uniform. Rip. His uniform was ruined. During the calisthenics session, Jiang Yubai was still grumbling. What crap uniform, such poor quality. And it cost 300. I shot him a disdainful look. The future him wouldn't blink an eye spending 3 million. Right now, he was truly stingy. During the exercises, his mouth never stopped, giving me a headache. I said, all right. After we go back, take off the uniform and I'll mend it for you. He immediately shut up, snorting. With your skills. What's wrong with my skills? After we married, all the tablecloths, sofa covers, even the TV cabinet cover in our home were hand-sewn by me. Once, Jiang Yubai came home, looked at the sea of lace trims everywhere, and his corner of his mouth twitched. Don't play favorites. Why not give the toilet a new outfit too? I nodded. The next day, I made it happen. I still remember Jiang Yubai's face turning pitch black as he looked at the toilet wearing its new clothes. After exercises, the first class was math. The dreaded math class. I thought I'd never have to deal with math or see a math teacher again in this lifetime. But now, here I go again. How cruel of the heavens. While my mind wandered, my gaze unconsciously settled on Jiang Yubai again. He never paid proper attention in class. One moment twirling a pen, the next propping his head up and flipping noisily through the book, and burying his head. Who knows what he was doing? After we married, I delivered meals to his company a few times. Of course, ours was just a cooperative marriage. I didn't need to lovingly prepare meals for a beloved husband. But one day he came home looking sullen. Thinking he'd had a rough day at work, I kindly asked. He wore an indignant expression. That director chin at the company, strutting around like a peacock every day, showing off the lunchbox his wife made him, as if it's something special, like nobody else has a wife. Then he looked at me expectantly. So? You want me to make bento boxes too? These strange competitive urges men have. Under his strong hints, I had no choice but to play the virtuous wife and mother, delivering meals to him a few times. That time, it was his turn to be the peacock. School's over. What are you spacing out for? Staring ahead like an idiot. Jiang Yubai flicked my forehead. It hurt. I glared at him resentfully. None of your business. He followed my gaze and saw Student Council President Shen Zhu. His handsome face instantly darkened. Why are you looking at him? When was I looking at him? He just happened to walk past the window, and I just happened to see him. I was about to explain when Shen Zhu gave me a friendly smile. He smiled. I couldn't just keep a straight face, so I smiled back slightly. Jiang Yubai stepped in front of me, blocking the view. His face stern. Aren't you supposed to mend my clothes? Why are you dilly-dallying? Fine. Such a bother. He's been like this since childhood, wanting things immediately. Not a minute or a second late. A proud son of heaven, used to getting his way. So not being able to have Rulan must have been a huge blow to him. Looking at his bright, unrestrained face now, thinking of the silent losses he would suffer later, mischievous smile suddenly crossed my lips. Fortunes change. Everyone hits a wall eventually. Young man, cherish your carefree days while you can. On the way back, we ran into Rulan. She wore the school uniform, tall and long-legged, with shoulder-length hair, brows and eyes dark as ink, lips red as cherries. The goddess in all the boys' hearts, including Jiang Yubai. Because I clearly saw Jiang Yubai freeze for a moment. I smiled bitterly. So, Jiang Yubai already had feelings for Rulan this early. Rulan wasn't a student at our school. She was from the all-girls school next door. But because she was stunningly beautiful and had an outstanding presence, she'd been the center of attention everywhere since childhood. She walked towards us. To be precise, towards Jiang Yubai. I thoughtfully said to Jiang Yubai, "Well then, the goddess is looking for you. I'll go back first to mend your clothes." After saying that, I turned and ran off quickly, not giving him a chance to react. When my mom got home and saw me mending clothes, she asked curiously, "That's not your uniform, is it? Who are you mending it for?" I didn't look up. "For that dog Jiang Yubai." Silence. Why did I say my inner thoughts out loud? My image as a good girl in my mom's mind was surely about to shatter. Seeing my mom's shocked look, I cleared my throat and said, "A dog ripped Jiang Yubai's clothes, so I'm mending them for him." When Jiang Yubai came to my place, it was already 9 at night. Irritated, I opened the door and threw the clothes at him. "Done." He caught them, raising an eyebrow at me. "What's wrong? Did you swallow gunpowder?" "You're the one who swallowed gunpowder." He picked up the clothes, examined them carefully, and scout evaluation. "The stitches aren't dense enough. Your skills aren't great," I snorted. "Even if my skills aren't great now, 10 years later, they'd be comparable to a master's. Even the toilet would praise me a few words." I said sarcastically, "Then why did you come to me to mend your clothes? Go find Rulan." Jiang Yubai was stunned, his lips parting as if he wanted to say something. But I didn't give him the chance, slamming the door shut with a bang. Outside, Jiang Yubai's voice continued. "Tomorrow, do you want meat buns or sticky rice? I want a hammer from you." That night, I tossed and turned, unable to sleep. As soon as I closed my eyes, I thought of the past. Back then, under pressure and inducements from both sets of parents, Jiang Yubai and I prepared to go on a honeymoon. I didn't want to go initially, but Jiang Yubai said, "We have to see the act through to the end, comrade. You can't drop out halfway and waste all our efforts." So, I had to nod my noble head in agreement. On the day of departure, I meticulously packed my luggage, dressed up carefully. Even Auntie Chen at home said, "Madam, you seem to be in a very good mood today." I quickly suppressed the smile at the corner of my mouth. After I got everything ready, Jiang Yubai suddenly called, saying he had an urgent matter and couldn't go, promising to make it up to me next time. On the surface, I acted like I didn't care, but disappointment still hit me like a tidal wave. And in the news, Jiang Yubai, the one with the urgent matter, was shielding Rulan, who was surrounded by reporters and fans. It finally dawned on me. From start to finish, I was just Jiang Yubai's pawn. The person he liked was Rulan, but the Jiang family didn't want their son involved with a female celebrity. So, I became Jiang Yubai's shield. Now, the heavens have given me another chance. A chance to start over. I must stay away from Jiang Yubai, make him get as far away from me as possible. The next day I was reciting lessons from memory. Jiang Yubai stormed over and slammed his school bag on my desk, as if I were a heartless woman. "Wen Nian, you've got some nerve." I lazily lifted an eyelid. "What did I do? Didn't I tell you to wait for me yesterday? I waited for you downstairs forever, and you just left without saying a word." "Chirp," I obliged smoothly. Jiang Yubai was completely confused by my series of actions. He looked me up and down. "Are you angry?" My eyes never left the textbook. "Why would I be angry?" "Angry that yesterday." Wen Nian, a clear, pleasant voice interrupted him. We both looked up toward Shen Ziyu standing outside the door. Seeing him, Jiang Yubai's handsome face darkened, his large hand tightening around the packet of sticky rice he held. Shen Ziyu beckoned me with a smile, his expression gentle. "Wen Nian, could you come here for a moment? I have something to discuss." I got up to go, but had only taken one step when Jiang Yubai grabbed my wrist, his gaze blazing. "You're not going." I gave him the stink eye. Is this some kind of idol drama? If he wants to be in an idol drama, the female lead isn't me. It's Rulan. He must not be fully awake yet. I shook him off. "Move, don't block the way." I went up to Shen Zi, smiling warmly. "What did you need?" Shen Zi, student council president, gentle temperament, socially adept, helpful. In the future, He'd be a renowned law professor. The school is organizing a charity event. I heard you're good at drawing. Would you like to give it a try? Sure. I nodded, agreeing readily. Seeing me agree, Shenzhou showed a relieved smile. I was a bit worried you wouldn't. Why wouldn't I? It's just drawing, anyone can do it. Jiang Yubai swaggered over to us like a boss, forcibly inserting himself between Shenzhou and me. I can draw too. Taking one more person isn't a problem, right? Him? He could probably draw a lion and it looked like a Pekingese. Jiang Yubai, stop messing around. I pulled at him. Who's messing around? I'm serious. Serious, my foot. Your drawings look like chicken scratches. As soon as the words left my mouth, I quickly covered it. But it was too late. Jiang Yubai narrowed his eyes, scrutinizing me. How do you know my drawings are ugly? Have you seen them? I swallowed. Of course I have. As the CEO of a publicly listed company, he had to maintain a certain image and often did charity work. Once he was invited to an orphanage and I accompanied him. He drew pictures for the kids. I watched from the side, the corner of my mouth twitching. Really, it was so ugly you couldn't bear to look. He tried to save face. Everyone has their strengths. My strength is making money. So what if my drawing is a bit weak? Besides, the most important thing is, my wife can draw. That's enough. That proud look. Then he said, seemingly casually, kids are so cute, soft and cuddly. If I had a child, I would definitely ... Wen Nian, talk. Jiang Yubai's clear, urgent voice pulled my thoughts back. I rolled my eyes at him. I just guessed. Go if you want. Don't if you don't. The human sticky plaster that was Jiang Yubai still attached himself. Because he said, the school is his home too. He has to supervise me with a responsible heart to ensure the school doesn't get humiliated. Could the reason be any more far-fetched? When Shenzhou and I discussed things, Jiang Yubai would be on the side, either playing basketball or games, always making some noise to interrupt our conversation. Honestly, if I could return to the future, I'd really want to film how dog-like he is acting now, and show it to his future self. He'd probably dig a 3-foot hole in the ground to hide in. My mind wandered. Could it be that Rulan didn't like him because deep down, he was a goofball? Which begs the question, why did I fall in love with such a goofball? When we finished work and went for lunch, Jiang Yubai also had to squeeze in with us. Shenzhou picked up a large chicken drumstick for me. You've been working hard lately. Have more drumsticks to replenish. Thwack. Before Shenzhou could place the drumstick on my plate, another drumstick landed on it with a splatter, juice splashing onto my clothes. That drumstick of yours looks underdeveloped. Eat mine. Shenzhou wasn't angered, but I was furious. Jiang Yubai, are you insane? My clothes. I'll wash them for you, big deal. I thought that was just a casual remark of his. But that night, he really came and threw small stones at my window. Wen Nian, if you're still breathing, open the door. I'm here to wash your clothes. Honestly, I really wanted to pour a basin of foot-washing water on him. If you're not planning to marry her, why are you teasing her? Irritated, I opened the window. What's all the yelling for? Everyone's sleeping. I don't need you to wash my clothes. Just stop annoying me a little, and that'll be enough. He was persistent. Open the door. No. All right then. He taunted me. I'll just call your mom and tell her you only scored on yesterday's math test. Why is this person so shameless? Stay away from that Shenzhou. He washed my clothes while nagging on the side, like Xianglin's wife. I ate the dumplings he brought, temporarily maintaining a peaceful truce. But hearing this, I frowned. Shenzhou is a good person. Why should I stay away from him? He's a weasel giving New Year's greetings to a chicken up to no good. Jiang Yubai scrubbed the clothes angrily. Strutting around you every day like a butterfly, what a disgrace. Who's the butterfly here? I became serious. Jiang Yubai, Shenzhou and I are just friends. But what are you doing right now? His scrubbing motion halted, and he turned to look at me. After we married, he would often look at me with that same expression, deep and full of emotion, as if I were a treasured possession he deeply loved and couldn't let go of. But that was just my wishful thinking, my own imagination. He was born with affectionate-looking eyes. They could look deeply even at a dog. It was these eyes that misled me, made me gamble with love, and ended up losing completely. From now on, let's keep some distance, I said. Reap. My clothes were torn by his scrubbing. I was a little surprised when Rulan came to find me. Honestly, sitting face to face with such a great beauty, I did feel somewhat inferior. She was too dazzling enough to overshadow everything. She handed me a fragrant envelope. Wen Nian, could you please give this letter to Jiang Yubai? I'm begging you. I didn't need to think to know what this letter was. Seeing my hesitation, she grew anxious. Wen Nian, please, Okay. I put the envelope into my school bag. I'll definitely deliver it for you. This time, I'll be generous and play matchmaker for you too. To spare you the pain of unrequited love in the future. The separation. The lifelong regret. Most importantly, don't drag me into this mess again. I don't want to be a pawn again. I went to find Jiang Yubai. He was playing basketball. The young man's figure was slender. His eyes bright, spirited and radiant. The clean, youthful energy emanating from him was overwhelming, surrounded by the screams of young girls. I watched quietly as he made the shot, my face full of pride. I squeezed the letter in my hand. For a moment, I actually wanted to execute that letter on the spot, as if it had never appeared. But that thought lasted only a second. In the middle of the game, Jiang Yubai's gaze swept over me, and he stopped going for the ball. The ball hit him in the back and he staggered. His teammates called out to him, Yubai, what are you spacing out for? Not playing anymore. You guys go ahead. He waved and walked straight towards me. When he reached me, his eyes were like a puppy's, with a touch of cautiousness. Are you here for me? He wiped the sweat from his forehead, showing a rare expression of grievance. I'm hungry, I sighed. What do you want to eat? Watching him devour his food, I was still struggling fiercely inside. Rulan's letter. To give or not to give? If I give it, all ties between Jiang Yubai and me will be completely severed. If I don't, then in the future I'll repeat the same mistakes, watching him love someone else. I can't bear to let him go, but I don't want to sink into the mire again. I remembered again the future him. Drunk, lying on the sofa, holding my hand, calling out, Don't go, don't leave me alone. He abandoned me, gave up our honeymoon promise for Rulan. When Rulan divorced, he stood on the balcony all night. Wen Nian, don't you know what choice to make? I looked at him. Are you done eating? He took a tissue, wiped the corner of his mouth, his handsome brows slightly raised. Full. Having this meal means we've cleared the air. No more fighting from now on. We're not 3-year-olds anymore. Let's not be so childish. The corner of my mouth twitched. I have something to give you, I said, taking a deep breath. His eyes lit up instantly, and he pretended to be coy. Treating me to a meal is enough, you're even giving me a peace offering. Well, since you're offering, I'll reluctantly accept. He held out his hand. Hurry up and give it. Looking into his eyes, I averted my gaze, took the envelope from my bag, and placed it in his hand without looking. What's this? See for yourself. I have to go. I grabbed my bag and was about to run, not wanting to see him later, moved to tears or overwhelmed with emotion. That would be too cruel for me. He yanked me back. Where do you think you're going? Sit down. Jiang Yubai's roar startled me. Before I could figure out why he was so angry, he slapped the envelope down in front of me. Two flames burning in his eyes, his thin lips pressed tightly together. Suppressing his anger, he said, Wen Nian, you're getting more and more impressive these days. I looked at the letter. It wasn't addressed to Jiang Yubai, but to Wen Nian. And the sender was Shen Ziyu. I was dumbfounded. When did Shen Ziyu put a letter in my bag? Jiang Yubai had already taken the liberty of opening the envelope, his face cold as he read the contents. I felt like my underwear was about to be exposed and reached out to grab it. But he was tall and looked utterly murderous. I really didn't dare provoke him. He finished reading it word by word, a cold sneer curling his lips. He snorted. Well, well, Shen Ziyu, a wolf in sheep's clothing. I knew he was up to no good. Give me back the letter. How can you read someone else's letter privately? If I didn't read it, how would I know he asked you out camping this weekend? Just a guy and a girl, How inappropriate. He sounded like a worried old father, afraid his grown daughter would be snatched away by a wild wolf. I was stunned. Camping? A contemptuous smile tugged at his lips. Camping, huh? Just two people would be boring. Add me. I don't know if my brain short-circuited, but I added, maybe we should invite Rulan too. On the day of the camping trip, Rulan was dressed very simply and naturally. A tracksuit on her exuded an overwhelming aura of innocence. I looked at my own short stature. The damage wasn't great, but the insult was strong. We chose a mountain for camping. The goal was to watch the sunrise. Shen Zhu chatted with me while setting up the tent. The sunrise here is beautiful. Lately you seem a bit down. Have you run into something? Watching the sunrise might help. Nature can heal the heart. Honestly, I quite enjoyed talking to Shen Zhu. He was like a big brother. Being with him was comfortable. Not like Jiang Yubai. Being with him felt like riding a roller coaster. Up and down. Never settled. I gave him a smile. Shen Zhu froze for a moment, then said softly, Wen Nian, you look really nice when you smile. You should smile more. But seeing Jiang Yubai and Rulan's interaction, I couldn't smile anymore. They were also setting up a tent. Despite Rulan's tall, slender appearance, she had the strength of an ant, struggling even to hold a pole. Beside her, Jiang Yubai frowned deeply, like a mother hen protecting her chicks. Don't move. This is too heavy. With your thin arms and legs, better not lift it. I'll do it. I'm begging you. Just sit there and rest properly. Let me handle the rest, okay? When Jiang Yubai talked to me, he was never guarded. It was like family. Sometimes when angry, his voice was quite loud. But with Rulan, he was cautious, gentle, afraid that raising his voice might scare her. I lowered my head and smiled bitterly. That's the difference. If there was any reason Jiang Yubai had been acting weird lately, always keeping an eye on me, it could only be one. He saw me as family, a younger sister. His own sister was suspected of being snatched by some other guy. As a brother, he'd definitely be unhappy. The letter Rulan gave me, I'd hand it to him when we got back. After a simple dinner, Rulan and I went into the tent to sleep. In the middle of the night, Rulan shook me awake. She looked embarrassed. Wen Nian, I need to use the restroom. Could you come with me? I rubbed my eyes, forcing myself awake. Sure. The mountaintop at night was vast and empty, cold wind blowing through like ghostly whispers. I wrapped my clothes tighter, holding a flashlight, watching Rulan search for a temporary restroom. I stood by, stomping my feet from the cold. Wasn't it just going to the bathroom? Late at night with hardly anyone around. What was she dilly-dallying about? Suddenly she let out a cry and disappeared. Startled, I rushed forward calling, Rulan, where are you? Rulan? Rulan's voice came. I'm here. Just like in the movies, instead of going back to call the two guys, my brain went hot, and I reached out to pull her up. The result was predictable. We both tumbled down the slope. While rolling down, I thought, would tomorrow's news headline be, two female students hike at night, meet their end on the mountain? But Rulan and I were quite lucky. We got stuck halfway down, caught between two trees as thick as waists. Rulan was already terrified, crying pitifully, having lost all semblance of her usual goddess demeanor. I had to comfort her while figuring out how to notify Jiang Yubai and the others. Fortunately, Jiang Yubai and the others soon realized we were missing and rescued us in time. My feet barely touched the ground, still reeling from the shock, when Jiang Yubai unleashed a torrent of blame on me. Wen Nian, are you an idiot? Going out at night with Rulan to use the bathroom without saying a word. Pitch black out there. You're lucky you're alive. Otherwise I'd be looking at two corpses. He ranted on and on. I only heard one thing clearly. Why did I take Rulan out to use the bathroom? Just now, he was so frantic his face was pale, his hands shaking as he pulled me up. Probably from anger. Anger at me putting Rulan in danger. I hung my head, silent. My heart felt like it was being squeezed by a giant hand, the pain making it hard to breathe. Rulan spoke up for me beside me. Jiang Yubai, don't blame Wen Nian. I asked her to come out with me. Jiang Yubai ignored Rulan, threw out a, you better think this over properly, and turned to leave. Rulan hurried after him. Shenzhou walked up to me and gently patted my shoulder. It's all right, don't be scared. Jiang Yubai was just worried about you. I looked up, tears falling uncontrollably. Shenzhou hesitated for a moment, then gently pulled me into a light hug, patting my back softly. I knew he was just trying to comfort me. Facing death, most people would have been weak-kneed and broken down, yet I had held on until now. Shenzhou had always been attentive. While Jiang Yubai was yelling at me, he had been trying to intervene. He just couldn't stop him. An angry Jiang Yubai was like a raging lion, ready to bite anyone. But I still couldn't accept being touched by anyone other than Jiang Yubai. So I gently pushed him away, whispering, I'm fine. Don't worry. I missed the stunning sunrise. On the way back, everyone was silent, no one speaking. When we reached our destination, Jiang Yubai said coldly, To the hospital. I spoke up. I'm not going to the hospital. I'm fine. Jiang Yubai looked at me. His eyes were bloodshot like a wild wolf's. He glared at me fiercely for a few seconds, then roared, Fine. Don't go then. Rulan, let's go. His voice was so loud it nearly shattered the windows. My throat felt tight, my eyes stung. If I hadn't been biting my lip, I really would have cried right then and there. That would have been too embarrassing. A figure stepped in front of me. Shenzhou's voice sounded. Maybe you should take Rulan to the hospital first. I see she has scrapes on her leg and arm. I'll take care of Wen Nian. Suit yourselves. Jiang Yubai got out of the car, slamming the door shut with a bang. Rulan gave me an apologetic look and followed him out. Shenzhou bandaged my wound. When he finished, he suddenly said, Wen Nian, do you like Jiang Yubai? I froze, not knowing what to say. My first thought, was I that obvious? If Shenzhou noticed, what about Rulan? She's a girl, attentive by nature, so she must have sensed something. As for Jiang Yubai, forget about his blunt personality, which was unlikely to detect my feelings. Besides, he was completely focused on Rulan and wouldn't have time to bother with me. How could you tell? Shenzhou smiled bitterly. Do you know what two things in this world are impossible to hide? Love and a sneeze. If you love someone, even if you close your eyes, it will spill out from somewhere else. Yes, loving someone does spill out from somewhere else. I looked at him pleadingly. Can you keep my secret? His lips parted as if he wanted to say something, but he finally nodded. That night, when I got home and was about to unlock the door, a sudden gust of wind came, followed by a strong force pinning me against the wall. My back hit the wall and I let out a pained grunt. My first thought, a bad guy. After Jiang Yubai and I married, this always busy big boss often had to travel. Once, someone targeted me. They marked the door, and when I got off work, I sensed someone following me. Actually, I didn't want Jiang Yubai to know. Our marriage was just a cooperative one. I didn't want to bother him. But seeing me distracted, he still got the truth out of me. When he found out someone was targeting me, he turned completely gloomy. After that, he not only picked me up from work every day, but also taught me basic self-defense, and even bought me pepper spray. So, without another word, I kicked the other person's vital spot. The person grunted. Wen Nian, are you insane? That voice ... it was Jiang Yubai. Realizing it was him, I relaxed. In the moonlight, I could see his face clearly. He gasped for breath for a long time, wanted to scold me, but seeing my eyes, he shut up. Get inside. It's freezing out here, he said irritably. Once inside, I was still concerned about his future happiness, since it affected Rulan's happiness too. Are you okay? He glared at me irritably. Give me your hand, let me see. What hand? He didn't bother talking anymore, pulled me over, rolled up my sleeve to check, saw the butterfly knot bandage and snorted. Shenzhou did this, didn't he? Ugly as hell, and so girly. I pulled my hand back. I like it. His handsome face instantly darkened. You like him? What's there to like about him? Wen Nian, can you just be clear-headed for once? I looked directly into his eyes. Yeah. What's there to like about him? When I played the virtuous wife, burning my hand with hot soup just to cook his favorite dish, and he didn't come home all night. When I looked forward to our honeymoon with hope, and a single phone call from him plunged me into hell. when he held my hand and begged her not to leave. When I woke from dreams in the middle of the night, dreaming he was holding another girl, speaking softly and tenderly. I handed him the letter in my hand. From Rulan to you. Jiang Yubai stared at the letter in my hand but didn't take it. I sighed, forcefully shoved the envelope into his hand, then smiled brightly. Jiang Yubai, I wish you both happiness. That year, when Jiang Yubai and I got married, we received a congratulatory card from Rulan. It said, wishing you happiness. Now the tables have turned. It's my turn to wish them happiness. Or perhaps they were always meant to be together, and I was just a detour. Now it's set right. Liking someone can turn into not liking them. You just have to stop wanting to. I picked up my school bag and walked upstairs. Jiang Yubai called out to me. Wen Nian, is that really what you think? I didn't turn around. You won't regret this. When I brought up the divorce, he did the same, standing behind me asking, you won't regret this? I curved my lips into a smile, holding back tears. It's late. You should go back. Goodbye. That night I had a dream. I dreamed I attended a wedding, very romantic, with balloons flying everywhere, rose petals covering the ground, and at the end of the rose petals were Jiang Yubai and Rulan. The next day at school, Jiang Yubai's seat was empty. The class monitor said he was sick and asked for leave. I pressed my lips together, lowered my head, and continued working on problems. On the way home from school, I couldn't help but walk to his doorstep. I lingered at the door for a long time. Just as I was about to knock, I suddenly heard voices and footsteps from inside, so I quickly hid to the side. The door opened and Rulan walked out. Jiang Yubai leaned against the door, watching her leave. I placed the test papers on his windowsill and turned to leave. Jiang Yubai switched classes. Long before this, our homeroom teacher and the head teacher had been chasing after him daily, wanting him to join the accelerated class. The class dubbed 1 foot in Tsinghua or Peking University. But what did Jiang Yubai say? Propping his cheek with one hand, his expression proud and confident. I don't need to be in the accelerated class to get into a top university. Besides, he glanced at me. If I'm not here, what will this dummy do with no one to teach her? Now, he couldn't be bothered with this dummy anymore. Do I regret it? I do. I regretted it from the moment I agreed to marry him. But if I hadn't agreed to marry him, I wouldn't have had the chance to be close to him at all. Just consider it giving myself a dream. The dream is over. Back to life. Since Jiang Yubai joined the accelerated class, he and I seemed to live in two different worlds, with basically no intersection. The only intersection was during the mobilization assembly. He represented the senior class in a speech on stage. The white shirt and black trousers on him accentuated his handsome face and slender figure. Except his expression was indifferent and cold. No ripple in his eyes, like a stagnant pool. The once passionate, radiant young man seemed to have lost his vitality overnight. Looking at him on stage, I smiled bitterly inside. It must still be because of Rulan. Some time ago, Rulan told us she was going abroad. Her life was destined to be filled with flowers, splendor, and thunderous applause. She wasn't like us. We needed to steadily cross the single-plank bridge of the college entrance exam. She was the sun, so dazzling that the place she was in now could no longer contain her radiance. After Jiang Yubai finished speaking, his gaze swept across the field, finally landing on where I stood. I looked up and met his eyes, but he shifted his gaze away without hesitation. A dull pain throbbed in my heart. That night, Shenzhou still came to tutor me in math. Seeing I wasn't in high spirits, he just smiled at me. Want to go for a walk on the sports field? Okay, I nodded. I've been troubling you lately, wasting your precious time tutoring me. I felt a bit guilty. We're friends. No need to say it's trouble. Besides, tutoring you helps me review the knowledge points too. It's not conflicting. After saying this, he hesitated slightly and glanced at me. I just feel you haven't been in high spirits lately. Maybe because the college entrance exam is coming up. Relax, the college entrance exam is just one hurdle in life. No matter how we cross it, experiencing it is already a victory. If you're troubled, why not think about how you want to spend your future university life? Under the moonlight, he smiled gently, his eyes soft as water. My originally anxious heart slowly calmed down. I smiled and said, Shenziu, I've realized you're really suited to be a teacher. As soon as I said it, I froze. Could it be because of my words that Shenziu became a law professor in the future? What's wrong? Seeing my expression change, his gaze followed mine and saw Jiang Yubai standing not far away. He wore a red basketball jersey, holding a basketball, looking at us with a cold expression. Should we go say hello? Shenziu asked tentatively. I shook my head. No, I still have test papers to do. Let's go back to the classroom. The night before the college entrance exam was my birthday. My parents prepared to celebrate. I invited Shenziu. My mom was puzzled. Why isn't little Bai here? Shenziu was about to speak, but I interrupted. He's a future Tsinghua student. Very busy. My dad sighed. That kid was so mischievous when he was little. The kind you had to spank every 3 days or you take the roof off. Who knew he'd turn out so impressive now? Then he looked at me. But my daughter is amazing too. Amid laughter and chatting, we were about to cut the cake when the doorbell rang. My mom thought the delivery she ordered had arrived and went to answer. Shortly after, she came back with a beautifully packaged cake. My dad was confused. Honey, I already bought a cake. Why did you buy another one? I didn't. I don't know who sent it. It was just left at the door. And it's a chocolate cake. Our Nianian loves chocolate cake the most. My heart gave a violent jolt. Not many people knew I loved chocolate cake. Besides my parents, only Jiang Yubai knew. Hey, there's a card inside. My mom took out the card and looked at it. It's from someone named Ru Lan. She wishes Nianian a happy birthday and success in the college entrance exam. Nianian. I haven't heard of a classmate named Ru Lan. The small flame in my heart slowly died out. I forced a smile. She's a friend I met from another school. On the night the college entrance exam ended, we all went to sing karaoke after dinner. The class monitor said, I just saw Jiang Yubai in the restroom. He should come say hello. He was once part of our class, after all. Then the monitor assigned the task to me. Wen Nian, your neighbor's with him. You call him. I was stuck, so under their expectant gazes, I dialed Jiang Yubai's number. He answered quickly, his voice cool and restrained. Hello. Hearing his voice, my whole body tensed, and I stumbled over my words. The class monitor and the others are looking for you. Would you like to come? We're in room 1201. Silence on the other end. After a long pause, he said, All right. I had just hung up when Shenziu called. Wen Nian, come outside for a moment. What's up? Just come out. But, Wen Nian, hurry, or you'll miss a wonderful visual feast. I put down the phone and glanced at the monitor. Monitor, I have something to do. I might need to leave first. At that moment, I made a decision. I didn't need to see Jiang Yubai again. We shouldn't have crossed paths to begin with. I didn't want to see him again, to leave myself even a sliver of hope. I didn't want ... to repeat the same mistakes. If he came, I would leave. Simple. Shenziu invited me to watch fireworks. Fireworks scattered across the sky like a brief yet gorgeous dream. Shenziu looked at me. Wen Nian, do you have any wishes? Watching the sky full of fireworks, I murmured, I wish those I care about to be safe, healthy. May all things go smoothly for them. And may their heart's desires come true. Shenziu looked at me. His eyes held an understanding that saw through everything. I lowered my gaze. What about you? What do you wish for? His thin lips parted. I wish for your wishes to come true. At 10 p.m., Shenziu walked me home. Just as I reached my doorstep, a shadow passed by. I was startled, and the shadow spoke. It's me. Fumbling, I turned on the porch light and saw Jiang Yubai before me. He seemed tired, a faint smell of alcohol on him. In his originally beautiful eyes was a suppressed pain. I frowned. You've been drinking? He smiled slightly. You still care about me? Seeing him unsteady and about to fall, I hesitated for a moment but still stepped forward to support him. He leaned on me. A guy over 6 feet tall leaning on me. I was pushed back a step before steadying myself. Doesn't your mom hate people who drink? And you still dare to? If I don't drink, I feel terrible. He pointed to his chest. Here it hurts. I opened my lips, wanting to comfort him but not knowing how. Lie and say, "It's okay. Rulan just went to pursue her career. She'll come back in the future. You can still be together. As long as I don't interfere." But I couldn't say it. Hardening my heart, I helped him sit on a nearby rattan chair. "I'll get a towel to wipe your face." I turned to go inside, but he grabbed my hand, his eyes pitiful. "Don't go, okay?" It was like I'd been burned. I jerked my hand away. He almost rolled to the ground from the force. "I'm going to get the towel." Once inside, I closed my eyes and mocked myself. Wen Nian. Oh, Wen Nian, you are truly stupid beyond measure. I came out with a towel to find Jiang Yubai already asleep on the rattan chair. I walked over and watched him quietly. A moment later, I called Uncle Jiang. "Jiang Yubai, this time we're really saying goodbye. Goodbye, and never see you again. I wish you peace and well-being in this life." After the college entrance exam, I got into my ideal university as I wished. Jiang Yubai did too. During the 4 years of university, Jiang Yubai and I were in the north and south respectively. Even during winter and summer breaks back home, I never saw him. The next news I had of him was when he went abroad for further studies. That was fine. He went abroad, perhaps getting a step closer to Rulan. I lived my life step by step work, making friends, but always felt something was missing. Waking from dreams at midnight, I'd inexplicably want to cry. Loneliness, like a beast of the night, pounced on me, suffocating me. I saw Jiang Yubai again 10 years later at a class reunion. Amid the noisy surroundings, he stood before me in a suit and tie. Looking up at the young man who had transformed into a mature, steady man, my heart felt a jumble of emotions. Jiang Yubai looked at me, his thin lips parting, the light in his eyes obscure. "Wen Nian, let's get married." The last time I agreed. This time I refused. He didn't ask why, didn't persist. He curved his lips into a smile, self-mocking. I knew it. Then he turned and left, his steps resolute. Watching his back disappear inch by inch from my sight, pain and sorrow gripped me like a giant hand. I couldn't breathe. This time, we were really saying goodbye for good, weren't we? 3 months later, dressed in black, I sat in a cafe with a white flower pinned to my chest. The TV was playing the news. Flight 717 air disaster, ... Some young girls nearby were discussing. "Sigh, this air disaster is too tragic. I heard the businessman Jiang Yubai was on that plane. Heaven envies talent. He was still so young ... My hand stirring the coffee trembled slightly. A thin film of tears welled up in my eyes. Shenzhou, sitting opposite, noticed my distress and asked with concern, "Wen Nian, are you okay?" "I'm fine." "Wen Nian, don't be like this. If he saw you like this, he'd be sad." Unfortunately, he can't see anymore. Covering my face, tears spilled through my fingers. I didn't even get to see ... his last ... Only his broken ... ID card. 3 months ago, one night, I suddenly woke from a nightmare, drenched in sweat. I dreamed Jiang Yubai was engulfed in flames. Opening my phone, a news alert popped up. Flight 701 had crashed, plummeting into a mountain. 5 minutes later, my mom called, her voice choked with sobs. "Nianian, Jiao Bai was on that plane." My vision went black. The rescue team searched for a long time, only finding Jiang Yubai's shattered ID card. Jiang's mother held the broken ID, crying as if her heart would break, and I could hardly breathe. If only I had known, I would have said yes. I would have married him. It didn't matter who he loved. As long as he was by my side, as long as I could turn and see him, that would have been enough. Shenzhou spoke. "Wen Nian, he left something for you." My head jerked up. Shenzhou took a deep breath, as if having made a major decision, and took a diary out of his briefcase. "This is Jiang Yubai's." With trembling hands, I took it, my fingers stroking the leather cover. This diary was a gift from me to him. I opened it, reading carefully, tears streaming down. The first page of the diary had a passage. "Wen Nian, this is the first birthday gift you gave me. I think it belongs only to us." The last page of the diary held his confession. "Wen Nian, I like you, more than anything in the world. Compared to sunrise, I prefer sunset. What I mean is, compared to meeting, I prefer growing old with you." Wen Nian, could you look back at me, just once? Shen Ziyu's voice came. Jiang Yubai gave this to me the day before he went abroad. He wished us well, and said whether to read the diary or not was entirely up to you. I'm sorry. I should have given you the diary right away. On your 18th birthday, the cake outside the door was from Jiang Yubai, Shen Ziyu said softly. That day I originally wanted to buy you a cake too, but I saw Jiang Yubai at the cake shop. The shop assistant asked him, who was the cake for? He said, for the person he likes. I got up to leave. Shen Ziyu said behind me, Wen Nian, forgive me. I lowered my head, rubbing the diary, smiling bitterly. Whether the first forgive you or not, what difference does it make? The person I can't forgive the most is myself. If I had accepted his proposal that day, he wouldn't have died. Returning home, I turned on the light. Looking at the bright room, Jiang Yubai's voice seemed to echo in my ears. Wen Nian, you're back. I let out a sob, leaning against the door, crying loudly. Details I had once overlooked were now dug up from the corners of my memory, bit by bit. He knew I loved chocolate cake but worried I'd consumed too much sugar. So he bought one once a week, but he was too stubborn to admit it, always saying it was leftovers from the company. I would eat the cake contentedly, and when I looked back I'd see him smiling, watching me. I also remembered the day Rulan returned. He stood on the balcony all night. But that day was also when Shen Ziyu won an award, and I went to celebrate with him. When I came back, perhaps driven by a desire for revenge, I praised Shen Ziyu a few times. He got drunk, grabbed my hand, saying don't go, don't leave me alone. But he never called Rulan's name. Ours was a contractual marriage. We always slept in separate rooms. I'd wake up thirsty and every time, there would be a glass of warm water by the bedside. In winter, my hands and feet would get cold. Auntie would always make me red date and goji berry soup, saying it was on the master's orders. When I got drunk, acting spoiled and crying before him, he would patiently pat my back, listening to my nonsense. The lunchboxes I made for him would come back washed clean. I always thought the person he loved was Rulan, that marrying me was just an escape. But Shen Ziyu told me, if you love someone, even if you close your eyes, the love will spill out from somewhere else. That time Jiang Yubai stood me up for the honeymoon. He really was with Rulan. But I later found out Rulan was the spokesperson for their company. Rulan was related to the company's interests. When he looked at Rulan, there wasn't much emotion in his eyes. And I kept imagining their unrequited love, imagining myself as the pitiful secret admirer. I was truly stupid beyond measure. This lifetime I will spend it in regret and self-blame. If only I had asked one more question. If only I had looked back even once. If only there are no ifs anymore. Jiang Yubai, he's gone. On my 80th birthday, Shen Ziyu came to see me for the last time. I told Shen Ziyu, don't be sad. I'll see him soon. You should be happy for me. Shen Ziyu's eyes reddened. With his white hair, he wept openly. I smiled at him. In this life, all I could do was remain unmarried, guarding his memory. Now, I can go to him. As my consciousness blurred, I seemed to see Jiang Yubai's figure. He stood in a white light, still in his youthful form, smiling gently at me. Wen Nian, wake up. Are you having a nightmare? Why are you crying? A familiar voice sounded in my ear. My eyes snapped open, meeting Jiang Yubai's concerned gaze. Seeing me drenched in sweat, looking terrified, he seemed heartbroken. Did you not sleep well? I'll go buy some water. Wait a moment. Looking at his face that seemed like a lifetime ago, I was overwhelmed and hugged him tightly. Jiang Yubai steadied me, his eyes wary and surprised. Wen Nian, what's wrong? I didn't speak, just held him and cried. Jiang Yubai patted my back silently, comforting me. Only when my eyes ached from crying did I regain my composure. Right now, I was in a car. I looked out the car window. The words Civil Affairs Bureau came into view. Frantically, I took out my phone. The date displayed was May 6, 2022. Today was the day Jiang Yubai and I had agreed to go to the Civil Affairs Bureau to finalize our divorce. I reached into my bag. Inside was a freshly issued divorce certificate. So had it all been a dream? In the dream, Jiang Yubai and I were entangled, separated by life and death. He died young, I grew old alone, and eventually died with regret. The diary. It suddenly hit me. The day I celebrated with Shenziu, which was also the day Rulan returned after her divorce. Shenziu had given me a sealed file. He told me, "Look at it when you feel ready." That file had been in my own house ever since. I need to go home. Jiang Yubai sighed. "All right, I'll take you back." He looked bitterly at the divorce certificate in my hand. I guess I can't escape a beating this time. The car stopped at the foot of my building. As soon as it parked, I flew out of the car as if chased by ghosts. Seeing me stumble, Jiang Yubai's voice held poorly concealed disappointment. "Hey, Wen Nian, we were married after all. Your reaction is too hurtful." That's what he said, but he still followed me. My mom opened the door and I rushed into my room. From behind, I could hear my mom and Jiang Yubai talking. "What's wrong with Nianian? Why is she in such a rush?" "Mom, she couldn't hold it in anymore." With trembling hands, I opened the drawer. Inside lay the file quietly. I took a deep breath and opened it. The familiar diary came into view. Jiang Yubai, who had followed me in, gasped when he saw the diary in my hands. "Whoa, how did the diary I lost end up in your hands?" I opened the first page. It read, "Wen Nian, this is the first birthday gift you gave me. I think it belongs only to us." The last page of the diary held his confession. "Wen Nian, I like you more than anything in the world. Compared to sunrise, I prefer sunset. What I mean is, compared to meeting, I prefer growing old with you." Seeing me crying and laughing, he walked over to me awkwardly, scratching his head. "Wen Nian, don't be like this. Everyone had their cringe phase. I swear, I really didn't write anything bad about you in the diary." I interrupted him. "Jiang Yubai, I regret it." "Huh?" He looked utterly confused. "I don't want to divorce you. I want to spend my life with you. Even if you try to drive me away, I won't leave." I dropped the diary and hugged him fiercely, burying my tears in his chest. "Jiang Yubai, let's never be apart again, okay?" After a long while, a sigh came from above my head. "Wen Nian, I'll agree to anything you say. Even if you want me to climb mountains of blades or dive into boiling oil, to pluck stars or the moon, I'll find a way." "Jiang Yubai, you said it. Let's pinky swear. 100 years, no changes." I looked up, meeting his reddened eyes, and nodded firmly. Pinky swear. 100 years, no changes. We went to remarry. The auntie at the Civil Affairs Bureau looked at us strangely. I never liked her. But who made her so famous? "Oh right, from now on, you're not allowed to go out alone with Shenziu." I laughed. "Are you jealous?" He puffed up like a pufferfish. "That day you went out with him, I was crazy with jealousy. But all I could do was get drunk. I was afraid you'd be fooled by that big bad wolf again." I laughed until tears came. "Then why did you stand on the balcony all night?" Although I had an inkling of the answer, after all the guests left, we packed up and went home. The nanny put the children to sleep, and Jiang Yubai and I got ready for bed. Holding me, he asked, "Wife, what did Rulan say to you earlier?" I teased him on purpose. "She mentioned that time you accidentally stepped in dog poop." I laughed. Seems she didn't know you'd already recorded all your embarrassing moments in your diary, and that I've seen them. Jiang Yubai covered his face. "Wife, give me some face, please." "Jiang Yubai, let's grow old together, okay?" "Okay. We'll grow old together. Whoever breaks their promise is a dog. My heart has long been yours. All I wish is to stay by your side. My wish has always been you." Extra. Jiang Yubai's diary from the parallel world, February 3rd. Sunny Wen Nian. That girl is so ditzy every day. Just like Old Yellow, the dog at the village entrance back home. If I go to the accelerated class with her brain, how will she ever get into university? It has to be me. After the college entrance exam, I'll definitely make her treat me to a good meal. February 15th, Sunny. When Nian and I ran into Rulan on the way home. Honestly, I really don't want to see her. Nothing good ever happens when I do. Last time I was walking the dog, my shoe slipped to my ankle. That wasn't even the worst part. The worst was, I twisted my foot, and my hand landed in fresh, warm dog poop. If she tells Wen Nian all this, how will I save face? I'll never be able to look Wen Nian in the eye again. I don't get what's up with this Rulan girl either. She stammers and avoids eye contact whenever she sees me. It's not like I owe her money. I told her, don't tell anyone my embarrassing stories. She even wanted to pinky swear. Swear what? So childish. I only pinky swear with Wen Nian, that child. I rushed over to see Wen Nian, pretending to get my clothes, but really, I just wanted to see her. Even though we're together all day, it's still not enough. Maybe I'm sick. Whether my eyes are open or closed, she's all I can think about. It's like an obsession. But what's her problem? I just teased her a little, and she tells me to take my clothes to Rulan to mend. What does Rulan have to do with this? February 16th. Rainy Wen Nian. That girl is getting bolder. She didn't even wait for me to go to school, and I even brought her favorite sticky rice. What made me angrier was that she's still hanging out with Shen Zhu. Yeah, Shen Zhu is the student council president at our school. He's always smiling at Wen Nian. What's there to smile about? Got white teeth. I insisted on joining their group, but Wen Nian said my drawings look like chicken scratches. How does she know my drawings look like chicken scratches? She must be paying attention to me. So she must care about me too. She must. I hang around her and Shen Zhu every day, making trouble for Shen Zhu. Trying to steal from under my nose. Did you ask for my permission? I dirtied Wen Nian's clothes and wanted to wash them for her. But she actually said she wanted to cut ties with me. For Shen Zhu, she wants to cut ties with me. Fine, cut ties then. You mean great. It hurts my heart. If I talk to her again, I'm a pig. I'm still spineless. Even though I said I cut ties, when I see her, I soften. I really want to go talk to her, even if she just smiles at me. I feel so pathetic. March 5th. Sunny Shen Zhu still has designs on Wen Nian, asking her to watch the sunrise. What's a guy and a girl doing watching the sunrise alone? I couldn't give them a chance to be alone, so I suggested going too. But she went and invited Rulan. Fine. Invite her. It's just one more person. At least there's a girl to chat with her. As for me, I'll definitely find a good chance to teach Shen Zhu a lesson. Wen Nian, that girl, scowls at me, but smiles like spring breeze at Shen Zhu. Could you be any more biased? And this Rulan girl can't carry a thing. Seems like you can't even scold her. I tell her to stay put, but she keeps coming over to mess things up. Annoying. The moment I heard Wen Nian almost fell off the mountain, my heart nearly stopped. Even though I knew she was okay. I couldn't stop being scared afterward. Couldn't control my trembling. I wanted to hold her, but what came out was blame. I lectured her until she was stunned. I regretted it so much. On the way back, I saw Shen Zhu holding her crying in his arms. In that instant, my world collapsed. I've always been proud and confident. Since I was little, if I wanted something, I got it. But Wen Nian is an exception. With her, I'm anxious, I'm conflicted and hurt. I'm happy one moment and sad the next. I overthink because of a look or a word from her. I thought if I was good enough to her, she wouldn't leave me. But I didn't account for Shen Zhu being the unexpected factor. She likes Shen Zhu. I'm jealous of Shen Zhu. Even hate him. I don't understand. When Nian and I grew up together, childhood sweethearts, yet a newcomer can surpass that. What really made me give up wasn't her telling me she liked Shen Zhu, but her trying to set me up with Rulan. She must not care about me at all. If she cared even a little, how could she push me towards someone else? How dare she? How could she bear to? Wen Nian, do you regret it? I regret it. I should have told you earlier. I like you. I like you so, so much. Wen Nian, could you look back at me just once? Life after remarrying was like apricots soaked in a honey jar sweet to the point of cloying. Jiang Yubai, this once aloof and sharp-tongued finance elite, seemed to have unlocked some incredible new attributes overnight, charging headlong towards the model of a perfect 24 filial husband, unable to be reined back. In the morning, while I was still wrestling with math test papers in my dreams, he was already up, moving quietly, clumsily fumbling with breakfast. Suspicious clanging sounds and a faint smell of burning came from the kitchen. Still bleary-eyed, I drifted over to see him frowning thoughtfully at a blackened lump in the frying pan. Wearing my little pink floral apron, he insisted it was borrowed. "Mr. Jiang, are you researching new carbon materials?" I leaned against the doorframe, holding back laughter until my stomach hurt. The tips of his ears turned red, but he maintained a serious front. "Strategic error. Didn't master the heat. But this egg, double quotes, he poked the black solid with the spatula, is rich in high-quality protein and minerals." In the end, we munched on sandwiches from the convenience store downstairs on our way out. He drove me to work, and at red lights he'd always glance over at me, his eyes sparkling like a large dog who'd just gotten a treat. I deliberately put on a stern face. "Watch the road, Driver Jiang." He'd go, "Oh," turning back, but the corners of his mouth would be lifted high. My colleagues quickly noticed the wedding ring was back on my finger, and their gossip instincts flared. During lunch, my closest colleague, Zhao Lin, sidled over, lowering her voice. "Nianian, what's the deal? Rekindled romance? Did Mr. Jiang have an epiphany, realizing what he lost was the best?" I remembered those sleepless nights, the fire and despair in my dream, and my heart still ached slightly. I smiled, shaking the ring on my finger. Maybe we both learned our lesson, realizing that some things, once missed, are truly gone forever. Shen Zhu contacted me occasionally, mostly about work or sharing interesting legal cases. We maintained a tacit, perfectly appropriate distance, like true old friends. Once, at the end of a call, he was silent for a moment before saying softly, "Wen Nian, seeing you so happy now. I'm really glad for you. Returning that diary, settling that matter, puts my mind at ease too. Thank you, Shen Zhu." I meant it sincerely. Regardless of the past, he was always the one who gave me warmth and help during our youth. Jiang Yubai knew I was in touch with Shen Zhu. At first, he'd pretend to casually inquire, but after a few teasing remarks from me, he'd look sheepish. Later, once he came home from overtime and saw me discussing a contract clause with Shen Zhu. Shen Zhu was an expert in this area. He didn't explode like before. Instead, he quietly sat nearby, waiting for us to finish, then came over, rested his chin on my shoulder, and mumbled, "Wife, I'm hungry." The tone held 3 parts grievance, 7 parts coquetry. I ruffled his hair, thanked Shen Zhu on the phone and hung up, then got up to heat leftovers for him. He hugged me from behind, his voice low in my ear. "I know there's nothing between you. It's just I still feel a bit jealous. I'll change. I'll try to change." My heart melted. I turned, cupping his face. "No need to change. Jiang Yubai, I like you just the way you are, including your pride, your awkwardness, your occasional childishness, and this clumsy possessiveness born because of me. Because it's these little bits and pieces that piece together the you I love, the one and only you." We started seriously building our marriage like any ordinary couple. We'd go grocery shopping together, argue over which brand of tissues to buy, usually ending up buying one of each. We'd curl up on the couch watching old movies on weekends. He'd mock me for crying easily, then secretly wipe his eyes at touching moments. We'd plan future trips from the northern lights in Scandinavia to Southeast Asian islands, though for now, with work and future children, they were just plans on paper. Most importantly, we learned to communicate, no longer like the us in that parallel world dream, wrapping our hearts in layers, pushing each other away with silence and misunderstanding. Now, if we're unhappy, we say so. If we have doubts, we ask. If we're happy, we share. If we're sad, we lean on each other. Wife. Today, Director Chen was showing off the sweater his wife knitted for him again. Jiang Yubai mentioned one day, seemingly offhand. I glanced at him. "So?" He sidled closer. "You see, it's getting cooler, Don't even think about it." I flatly refused. "I pricked my finger like a sieve just sewing a button, and you expect me to knit a sweater? If you want to catch a cold, just say so." He went, "Oh," disgruntled. A moment later, his eyes lit up again. "What about a scarf?" "Scarves are simple. I saw this foolproof knitting method online. In the end, after sacrificing countless skeins of yarn and producing several misshapen, hole-riddled creations, a thing that could barely be recognized as a scarf was wrapped around Jiang Yubai's neck on the day of the first snowfall. He wore that crooked, garishly colored scarf to the company, casually mentioning to everyone, "Oh, this?" My wife insisted on knitting it for me, told her not to bother. Well, no helping it. According to his assistant Zhao Zhang, who later secretly told me, Mr. Zhang didn't stop smiling for days. Even his scolding during meetings seemed much kinder. Days flowed by like a gentle stream, ordinary yet filled with a steady sense of security and trivial sweetness. End.